We're going to go through a hip external rotation kinetic stretch using the box setup. So for this particular stretch, there's two active components. The first one is what will pull me into the stretch or my end range position for hip external rotation, and the opposite, which will push me out of that position. So the first contraction, which will lower me towards the box, is a combination of external rotation, this movement here, combined with hip flexion. So that in combination is what is going to lower my torso towards the box. And then the opposite will be hip internal rotation. So I'm going to do this combined with hip extension, driving my knee back. Okay. So in terms of how you can set up and variables you have to play with, first off, using the box, when I place my leg onto here, I can play with how much the leg is on the box. So I can slide further back, taking myself a bit more off, or go a bit more forwards. My supporting leg, I could play with exactly where that is, how much I bend this knee, and even how much this leg is up or down the box. So for maybe a more tighter hip, lowering down, where we take ourselves a little bit more out of that hip external rotation position, could be more friendly. You could also play with even how much you're shifting weight onto the pelvis. So as I shift weight towards my left more, it changes very much how I'm stretching this area here, versus if I shift the weight more onto my supporting leg, I tend to lose that a little bit until a point where it then changes and it picks back up, but in a very different way. So you could play with shifting your body weight from side to side. You can play with turning your torso and rotating into a particular angle as well for this. So I could be performing slightly off angle in this direction, for example. And then lastly, if you feel you might be using a hard box like this and it's not comfortable, something like a rolled up towel or an ab mat or a yoga mat, use it to also cushion. If earlier, like I showed, you're one of those that can't really flatten your leg onto the box very easily, something like this, just to act as a support, can be very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to set up and give you an example of how to perform this exercise. I'll set myself up with the variables given in combination. I'll adjust to where I'm happy. And then I'm going to think, to begin, first off is set the pelvis. So I'm going to think my pelvis is like a ball of water. I want to anteriorly tilt. So it means pouring water out of the front of the pelvis, lifting up my tailbone. Then from there, I'm going to actively lower myself down by pulling my leg off the box, imagining it was glued here. So I'm going to think rotation, external rotation into hip flexion. This is what lowers my torso. I work into my end range, and then when I get to my end range, I do the opposite. I'm going to push down into the box for hip extension, but also internally rotate into the box as well. And then when I get to my end, I reset and I start again. Pull in, pull in, pull in. And then to reverse, push down, push down, push down. And then this is an exercise that you don't have to go specifically in a straight up and down line. You can explore different positions. I can turn my body or rotate my torso to the side a little bit and then perform the exercise here. Same, I can explore rotating the torso to the other side and then seeing how it feels to perform it there. And then this is also an exercise that you can change the position. So I demonstrated today doing this on a box, but you could also take as an example your 90-90 setup and perform the same thing right here. So my leg is glued onto the floor. I pull the leg into me to lower myself down, push the leg into the floor to bring myself back up.